Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we are checking out the Dance of the Manse video. So what the heck is a Dance of the Manse? Well, it's a new card. It's very shy. Doesn't want to get in a row of its own so I can show it to you, but here you go. So, what the heck? Are you kidding me right now? Look at this. I moved my camera and everything so it wouldn't be in your way. And now look at that. Now it comes up over here with the new update. Rigged. There we go. Dance of the Manse. The Beauty and the Beast dance. All the furniture comes to life and we throw a party. That's what it's based on, I think. So it says return up to X target artifacts and or non-aura enchantment cards, each with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If X is 6 or more, those permanents are 4/4 creatures in addition to other types. So while we may cast Dance earlier in the game sometimes to stay alive, get value, draw cards, or do something, most of the time what we're trying to do is get to 8 mana, cast this, and bring back a bunch of animated artifacts like 4/4 Witching Wells and 4/4 Golden Eggs to beat the opponent to death with. And yeah, it's very fun. This is also a pretty epic Emry Lurker of the Lock deck. We want this card coming down early and often, milling our top 4, giving us targets in our graveyard while also casting artifacts out of the graveyard should Emry live. Teferi Time Raveler is a bit of a villain, we all know that, but if he's ever done something cool, he does something cool in this deck. He lets us cast Dance of the Manse at instant speed, and he also protects us from evil counter spells that would not usually let an 8 mana reanimation type spell occur. So yeah, Teferi, it's got its place. You can also bounce Emry and replay Emry to keep the graveyard getting full. You can reset a glass casket. You can draw an extra card with Golden Egg. There's a lot to do with the Teferi Time Raveler in this deck. Stonecoil Serpent might not be what you expected to see, but this X mana for a reach trample protection from multicolored X +1/+1/+1 counter card is pretty interesting. You can play it early, and then when it dies, you can recast it using Emry's choose an artifact card in your graveyard ability and cast it as an even bigger creature. The reach actually comes up huge. One card that this is a really funny card against is Crackling Drake. Crackling Drake can't do anything about this card. It's multicolored, so there's just nothing that can happen. Also, by the way, protection from multicolored means that Teferi, the opponent's Teferi, and your own can't bounce this card, which is pretty funny as well. So I like this card in the deck. I'm a big fan of the deck in general. A few cards that you'll have to get used to here. Some new cards, Vantress Gargoyle. They have a lot of text on them. This is an interesting one that you'll probably understand better once you watch me play with it. But it's a 5/4 flyer for 2. It can't attack unless the defender has 7 cards in their graveyard. It can't block unless you have 4 cards in your hand. So you're walking a tightrope all the time, a tight rope. And when you tap it, each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. So filling your graveyard for Emry and the Dance, filling the opponent's graveyard so eventually this card can attack them. Emry has a ton of text as well, one less for each artifact you control. Legendary, Merfolk, Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, mill yourself 4, tap it, choose an artifact card, you may cast it. So there's all kinds of interesting things to do with Emry in this deck. Recasting Witching Wells and Stonecoil Serpents and Glass Caskets is awesome. You can sacrifice a Golden Egg to make mana, just filter a mana, and then recast it with the mana to draw a card. You do what you got to do, let me just put it that way. Sorcerer's Spyglass is the only thing in the deck that really interacts with Planeswalkers, so it's pretty key. And I think I've talked enough about this. There are a lot of new cards that have a lot of text on them. Buckle up, enjoy the ride, and welcome to the Dance of the Manse. All right, looking at this, we've got some gargoyles, we've got a Teferi, we've got a mana of each color and a Spyglass. We can give it a try. If the opponent's super aggressive, gargoyle will be a nice brick wall. We draw some land, Teferi can help us find more. I feel like I'm still missing a bit, but we'll see what happens. Temple of Epiphany. Scry to the bottom. No idea what this might mean. What does the fox say? Fox says, you sound like a dog. Yeah, digging. Witching Well. I run this card. Scry 2, 4 mana sacrifice to draw 2 cards. Perhaps our opponent's some kind of shenanigan draw go deck, and you see them, they're digging through the deck early. Let's not give away our Teferi, our blue-white leanings just yet, and play a Vantress Gargoyle. 5/4 for just 2 mana. But it can only attack if the opponent has 7 cards in their graveyard. It can only block if we have 4 in ours, but with a tap, not in our graveyard, 4 cards in our hand. But it can tap to put a top card of a library into a graveyard.
Let me synthesize the facts.
Royal Scions, you can activate it to draw a card, then discard a card. We're probably going to shut that down. So, Sorcerer's Spyglass, are you ready? So, our opponent has a Crackling Drake, which we can bounce that with Teferi. Gargoyle can also block it. Thrill of Possibility, of course, draws extra cards. Witching Well can sack to draw cards. Lots of card stuff going on here. But this one is pretty easily the Royal Scions. Let's shut that down and say go. Drake is here. Hello, Drake. Milling the opponent seems kind of awkward in this spot, but we do need to mill ourselves for our dance to be good anyway. Radical idea in the yard. That worked out much better for the opponent than it did for us. But, you know, Teferi. Teferi is likely to get shocked here, but I still think it's a play.
Stand by and watch. Don't worry, I got this.
And we did draw the Witching Well, which is great because we kept a blue mana available. Let's see, we're looking for another white. We found it. More dances. Hard to ignore that. This is one of those cases where I guess I don't really want to mill with my Gargoyle now. But so we'll say go, and we'll keep those cards. I'm expecting a shock on the Teferi. If the opponent can find the untapped red. It might be awkward for them. But it's not like it hurts it too much. The shock can always happen next turn. Here's the Witching Well. Let's see what our opponent does. If they leave a card on top, we're going to want to use our Gargoyle to get rid of it at some point. 2 to the top. I wonder if the opponent is thinking about the Gargoyle activation. We could use it and mill both, but then we miss our land, which we want, and the Dance of the Manse, which we pretty much always want with the deck. Interesting. It's just an interesting situation. Alright, so plus you.
That's more like it.
We could have the Time Wipe available. Is that the play? The opponent can still shock away our Time Raveler after all. Interesting. We could name Witching Well with the Spyglass, and it would turn off our own Witching Wells. It's a very weird spot. One of the weirdest I can recall. Man, it feels like I just say go and blow up this Drake. Well, whether or not the opponent actually shocks our Time Raveler is going to be a big deal here. And whether or not they remove the Gargoyle. Here comes shock. Alright. We don't have to Time Wipe in response. We can wait. Plus the Gargoyle can still block, so let's wait till the opponent targets the Gargoyle. Now do we mill this dance or do we draw this dance? I already have another one, and we don't have that big of a graveyard, and the opponent kept on top. I think all that means I should activate it. Kept a mountain on top. Time Wipe. Save my Gargoyle. Blow up your Drake. Feels good. How's your graveyard doing? 6 cards. 7 cards. The Gargoyles can attack. Opponent's going to have to solve some beefy problems. And then Dance will bring them back if the opponent does solve them. There's an Emry. Well, that will mill 4. And that's another problem the opponent better solve. Because this lets us cast artifacts out of our graveyard, and look at that. Now we've got a beefy yard. Alright, Gargoyles. Come on down. We lost our music somewhere. I want my music back. Call me particular all you want, but I enjoy my music in this game. So what have we got down here? Gargoyle, Casket, Witching Well. I wonder if our opponent will play something for this Casket to hit. If so, Dance for 3 can get back these 3 cards right now. Here's a Drake. Casket only hits something of 3 or less. Think Baffling End. Think Baffling End when you think about the Casket. Improbable Alliance. Whenever you draw your second card for the turn, you make a fairy. So that's something. But let's put the pressure on the opponent now. Here is a 10-point attack coming at your face. Would you like to trade with one of these? Because Emry can recast it. How's it gonna be? And yep, the opponent says, we better make that trade. So, I can get back a Gargoyle, and a Witching Well. Seems solid, and the opponent's tapped out, so there's not much they can do about it. I could also just play one off the Lurker off the Emry. That's an option too, but I like going ham. What can I say? Uno, dos, tres. Curious to see if this opponent's deck can recover from this. And we see 2 more land. Normally I'd be a little bit interested in that, but we just played our Dance of the Manse and we milled another, so I think we're done dancing for this game. Let's get killing. There's a Lava Coil. 1 Gargoyle down. 2 to go. And remember, when the opponent draws their second card, they'll make a fairy. Those fairies can chump block. Okay, Emry down. They're starting to. They're doing. They're clean. They're killing some stuff. They're messing with me. I don't like it. We can play the Big Serpent. I don't know what they'll do about that. Protection from multicolor means a Drake can't block it. Can't block it. Let's go, team. No, not using Thrill. I guess Thrill, yeah, there's no more cards in hand. They can't. They're down to 5. I don't know how they'll solve this. It's so big. Stone, Coil, Serpent, Reach, Trample. Protection from multicolor. Just shuts down a card like Crackling Drake if the opponent finds another one. Trample gets through the fairies. That will be the game. We can dance if we want to. You can leave your friends behind. Boom. 2 Hallowed Fountains and a Fabled Passage for pretty good mana, and a lot of early drops. So, looks like the kind of hand we want to keep. Our opponent's going to open with Once Upon a Time. I strongly recommend waiting and drawing your first card so you know more about what to select, but whatever. The opponent throws the hello after finding the goose, whatever. Obviously, you have a busted draw. Whatever, dude. We're probably going to have to end up paying life, so we may as well Fabled Passage here. Oh, we got a blue source. Kick it on over. What you got? Paradise Druid. So ramp and ramp. Alright, let's slow the opponent down a little bit here. We can use Glass Casket to take out the goose. Can't hit the Paradise Druid, but we can at least take the opponent another turn away from a Nissa that we probably can't beat, to be honest. Scry to the top. Everything's coming up rosy, but there's a time wipe, which is probably our best chance. So this is a fun turn. We get to play the Gargoyle if we want to, which can be a very nice large blocker against Nissa if the opponent comes down and animates a forest. Can also start milling to fill our graveyard, and the Lurker of the Loch can fill our graveyard. So I think that the play is going to be getting the gargoyle down. Gaining 2 life. And getting Emry down for just 1 mana, because Emry costs 1 less for each artifact we control. Now we mill 4 cards, and say go. Next turn we can cast an artifact out of our graveyard if Emry is alive. And there's an Assassin's Trophy. Interesting choice by the opponent. They must have a way to also kill the Emry, or that's not the play you want to make if Emry lives. And there is the Nissa.
We will not fail. Rise, my elemental friend.
Not sure what it is that I do to deal with the actual Shaker of the World. I mean, Time Wipe will do something eventually, but not yet. Alright, bring back my Gargoyle. I need 4 cards in hand to block with it, unfortunately. But it's something. We'll get this egg down. It draws a card so that we can still block with our Gargoyle. And then next turn we'll have 6 mana. And we're working on our dance. We're trying to get dancing. Our opponent only has 2 cards in the graveyard after all. Okay, you want to attack? I mean, I can play it again. Okay. This is fine. This is all fine. I guess I can bounce to my Emry here and Time Wipe and blow up your land. That's pretty vicious. Pretty vicious. Okay. So we can thin the deck with the Fabled Passage. We can Time Wipe, bounce the Emry, replay the Emry. I could also make it so I can cast this Wishing Well this turn and then play that after the Time Wipe, but I like replaying the Emry and milling more so that our dance gets better and better. So let's open with Fabled Passage. The land will be untapped. Let's go get another blue source, because we've already got a number of the green. We want a Time Wipe. Let's make sure that we tap this. Tap carefully with these. Time Wipe, bounce the Emry, replay the Emry, right? Right. Oh, see, the opponent only had 2 forests, and they animated both of them with the Nissa. That makes the Time Wipe much more effective than it otherwise would have been. They are at 5. We're going to have to keep an eye on life total. It's going to be rough.
Behold, nature's true
All right.
power.
Our opponent found another forest just fine, and they get to attack over the top, so I guess we're dead. Giving up the Emry is very sad. I guess I can use the Dance of the Manse, but I don't think it will save me here. Our opponent's creatures just don't line up well with our removal. They want to make me discard a card? Well, I could drop off the Serpent, but the Serpent might be absolutely necessary here. So I'll drop off the castle. Well, I got an egg. This has reach. I can gain 3 life otherwise, but the opponent just animates their last land. Dance just doesn't have anything it can bring back to help me. I guess the Gargoyle. The Gargoyle can block. We actually have had very unfortunate mills. We haven't hit many artifacts. We need to have 4 cards in hand for it to work. Let's see. I have 4 now, but then I have to play this out, so I need this and another blocker, and I just don't see it. So I can sacrifice these for... I can sacrifice the golden eggs for life. I guess that's the play. I guess that's the play. Okay. We can play this for 3. And pass the turn. We do have a dance next turn, potentially. Could be hype. Let's see if we live that long or if the opponent's draw is unbeatable. Maybe they missed Maybe they missed that I'm not quite dead. I think they missed it. They missed it. What does the opponent do now?
The land shall conquer you.
Alright. And you, yep. We'll need at least 4 creatures to block next turn. Emry off the top. But this is about Dance of the Manse, so we can sacrifice you for a mana of any color. Let's make it blue. And let's play you for the full 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Auto pay. All of these come back as 4/4 base creature types. 4/4 base. There's a time wipe. Ooh. I may need it. I'm gonna keep it. I may need it here. So that will shore up the ground a bit. There's a Teferi. Oh yeah. This is getting very exciting. The opponent's gonna minus the Nissa. They're gonna fetch a whole bunch of lands. So their lands are indestructible now. But my artifacts are bigger. Can we take advantage of an opponent who missed lethal to such a degree? What do you have in the graveyard? 7 cards. That means Gargoyle can attack, so Nissa's going down. But the opponent gets to fetch 1,000,000 lands, and these are now indestructible for the rest of the game. We can still bounce them with Teferi. We can still block them, but they're indestructible. Let's see, the opponent can also go block, block, gain 2, 19, and they don't take even close to enough damage. Here's a Gilded Goose. Make some more food. Weird. I mean, suck it. Don't really care what you're up to there. Would have been, I mean, it's not even a good bluff because I have to block. I don't have a choice. So this is sweet. This exiles a creature. So you can attack here, but there's a goose in the way. I think the opponent will block, though. This has trample. We could send everything at the Nissa, though. We could send a lot of things at the Nissa. Being at 1 is tough, though. This is gonna get really hairy. Anyway, this part I'm sure about. This part I know.
I know my responsibility.
No more of this.
Let's try this.
Another wipe. Alright, casket. Get rid of you. Yep, the opponent's very impressed. So now we have to get to the Nissa. So we have to attack with at least 3 creatures. The Gargoyle can't block. So you definitely go in. These can be sacrificed for life. And this has reach, so it can block a Rankle if the opponent draws one. So these are the attacks. No more Nissa, please.
I cannot protect you anymore.
And now we'll play the Emry. Mill. I see a Spyglass and I see a Wishing Well. So we can Spyglass future Nissas. Maybe Garrick needs to be Spyglassed, I'm not sure. Alright, let's end the turn. So these are things that we can play out of the graveyard with Emry. There's a Witching Well and a Spyglass. Our opponent draws a mana creature. That's got to be a tilt for them. They had this game and they missed lethal. Forgot about food. I forgot about food today many times, so I get it. I do get it.
I've got time.
Alright. Can't die. Just don't die. We're gonna play a Stonecoil. We want at least 3 blockers. We want one of them to have reach. So you're going in. 1, 2, 3. You can block, but we don't really want to. Let's keep an egg untapped, and let's send this squad. No. This will have reach, so we can send this one. If the opponent double blocks, I'd rather trade this because I can recast it with the Emry. Okay. Opponent didn't make a food token with the goose. It's a little bit of life that could help them. Also, before you say I should have threatened lethal, remember food can be sacrificed for 3 life, just like our opponent forgot. Let's not be the ones forgetting as well. Make a white. Play this for 6, leave 2 mana open, sack a food if necessary. And end the turn. One is not 0. Isn't that what they tell you on the help screen as you enter the arena? All right, the top of the deck. What will it be? Wow. I know how that feels. When you thin the deck, you pull a bunch of lands out of your deck with Nissa and then top deck land anyway. We have pretty good mana. We don't have double blue, but we don't have a lot of double blue cards. We just have sequences that can be double blue. I'll keep it though. Seems like it should be able to do just about everything we need done. There's Emry. That is one of those sequences I talked about that needs double blue. Sometimes. Witching Well. So we have a 4th land, which is nice, but it's the wrong color. We have another well, and we're kind of bottlenecked on blue mana. I don't know. I kind of want to put that in the graveyard to get back later. If I play Gargoyle next turn, though, I draw both of these. Do I want to draw these? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think my mana's pretty occupied here. I think these go to the bottom. I think I can do better. I guess I could have kept the... I would have had to keep the plains to have the well on top now to go with Emry, though. Alright. The old Gargoyle. Make you get through the wall. See if you can break the wall down, Gutter Bones. As long as we have 4 cards in our hand, this buddy can block. Okay, no attack there. So, 1 mana, Emry, mill 4. No artifacts. Been getting a little shafted by Emry these days. But we will battle on. So I couldn't think of exactly what to Spyglass here. Probably the best Spyglass target will be the Priest of the Forgotten Gods. But I don't see that card yet. Let's see if Emry can survive a turn. If so, maybe we can do something like sack the egg for mana and recast it. Draw an extra card. Or maybe we'll mill something with this Gargoyle, which can tap to put the top card. Each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. We still need to hit our land. Murderous Rider on the Gargoyle. Let's mill. A Rider to the graveyard. A land to the graveyard. That's a heartbreaker. Some attacks. No blocks. And a land off the top. Hallelujah. Let's use this first. Go get a blue. So we can't block with the Gargoyle now if we play it. We can play the Gargoyle from the graveyard and block with that. The other option is we have a Glass Casket for this Midnight Reaper anyway, which I think is a lot better. So I guess we're just going to go lower on our hand and not be able to block with the Gargoyle for a while. Let's sack this for mana. I don't want to overcommit to the board here. Let's replay the Golden Egg, because we're probably going to time wipe at some point very soon. Draw an extra card. Well, now I'm on 5. I could play out this Gargoyle and make the opponent get through it, or I could play the Casket, but I think making the opponent go through these Gargoyles is a pretty good play. It's a good way to go about it. The Golden Egg will keep getting us deeper in the deck. Maybe we'll hit our land drops. So here's Witch's Cottage putting the Great Murderous Rider on top, but the Gargoyle can mill it. Here's the Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Here's a Footlight Fiend. So Spyglass on the Priest, Glass Casket on the Rider is what I'm thinking. So we want to mill this again, which means we're going to tap this. Trying to think of any other sequencing, but Yeah, let's just do this now. Because we might hit another artifact to play from our graveyard. Alright. Here's the spyglass. Let's name Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Okay, sure. Very aggressive. It's gonna make this time wipe really nice. Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Now you know activate. Any more. Alright. Play the Casket, take out the Reaper, because we definitely do not want the opponent drawing a bunch of cards when we set off our time wipe. And play this tap land, survive a turn, blow up the world. I don't even want to chump with the Emry, I want to return it with the wipe. Here's the Rider, we're going to get the full value now. Not willing to attack with the Priest. I guess we could have bounced it anyway. No blocks. Alright, my turn. There's another dance. Those can be very, very nice. Remember, golden eggs can be sacked for life. That's something that comes up pretty often. What we want to do... Nothing to play out the same turn that we do this. We could sacrifice this and target it, but that's not that important. Let's tap the Gargoyle. Mill. Hitting a Gutter Bones is kind of sad, but it happens. Wipe. Wipe froze the game. As you see, just locked up. Return the Emry. I'll take that, and the Rider goes to the bottom. 6 cards in the graveyard. Let's see if the opponent can get pressure on us. Because if they damage us and get back the Gutter Bones, it's going to get scary. But if they don't do that really soon, we're going to stabilize in a pretty big way. Stonecoil Serpent's pretty nice. Let's go ahead and play the Emry and mill some more and try to keep setting up our dance. Okay. So we got plenty of things to play next turn. This isn't doing too much right now. Let's just make a full power Serpent. And of course, if the opponent kills it, we cast it from the graveyard even bigger. So yeah, there's Murderous Rider. Take down Emry. Again. No prob. No problem. This is fine. Cauldron Familiar is a big problem. That's something that could become a big issue. And look at it triggering these Gutter Bones. How hype. How incredible. Alright, 6 mana. Artifacts we can get back include the Golden Egg. A bunch of Gargoyles. 2 more Vantress. 3 Vantress Gargoyles. But they can't block until we get enough cards in our hand. Witching Well can sacrifice to do the job, though. Yeah, I think I've just got to set up for that. Also the eggs. We could sacrifice this egg for the life, sacrifice the Witching Well to draw 2 cards, and then the next turn the dance is very good. So yeah, I think that's the play. Sacrifice the egg, sacrifice the well, get stuff back next turn. Look at the value. There's so much value in these black aggro decks now. I can't wait to play one of these. Order of the Midnight. What'd I tell you? Alright, are you going to kill my Serpent then? Get him for some damage? Not yet. The Midnight Rider could kill the Serpent. What's the problem, I wonder? Anyway. Let's draw some cards. Gain 3 life. Another card off the top. We're getting kind of close to where we could dance for a whole bunch. Maybe that's good enough. We have 1 Stonecoil Serpent. We could have another. We're at 9. We could also play Teferi. Teferi doesn't really bounce anything here, though, does it? Let's see what happens if we go for this. And then we could also play a 3/3 Stonecoil. That's just fine. If we draw a land off the top, We're in pretty good shape, like really good shape. All right, it's a little bit greedy. Let's see if the opponent responds here with the rider. No, they don't.
Right on schedule.
Okay. So I feel like I should draw my card. If I don't, when will I get to? So let's set back a Gutter Bones because we can. And if we draw a land off the top, the dance is happening. 8 mana is the magic number. That's when things come back as a base 4/4. Oh, those cat sounds. Not gonna let him catch the murderous rider. And there it is. The rider goes after the Teferi. So much Teferi hate. There's the land. We could pay 2 life for it. Going down to 6 is scary, but I think it's worth it. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 6. And we'll have enough mana to use the gargoyles. All right. Pay 2 life. Do we attack first? I guess so. We're gonna have an ocean of blockers after all. What you got? Who knows? Maybe they fear the time wipe. Think I may as well block. Looks like that's the plan. If only I still had my Teferi to do it at instant speed, but I'll take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw some cards. Don't need you, but I'll take that casket. That is a perfect card for what we're up against. 4 cards in hand means these can block. 5 cards in the graveyard means they can't attack. Murderous Rider. Opponent keeping hope alive. A pair of 2/3 lifelinkers. That's Sorcerer's Spyglass. So, bounce, exile, block, block, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite lethal. Oh wait, we can activate 2 of these to get some cards into the opponent's graveyard. That should do it. Now this one can attack. So if it's just block, block, then it's dead, right? Right. Bouncing Murderous Rider. Scary proposition.
You'll thank me later. Trust me, I have a plan.
Let's see if I missed lethal this time. Let's see if I found a way to do it. Block, block. That should be good. Smash bash. Welcome to the dance of the Manse, baby. Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test. I hope you enjoyed this video with this Dance of the Manse. It's a very fun deck. I'm not sure where it lies in the competitive scene, but there's a lot going on here, and it's different from, I think, any control strategies we've seen in a while. It plays different. It feels just kind of fun and fresh, and I highly recommend trying it out if you have the wild cards and you want to see something new in action. So yeah, if you didn't enjoy this video, I'd love to hear why. Like, what could you possibly hate about bringing all the furniture to life and beating the opponent to death with it? Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.